Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 4Strategy Gaming. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Terran strategy. What we're going to be looking at is the 3 racks Marine Marauder SCV all-in. And yes, this is kind of cheesy, but this is an effective tactic, so we're going to try to share all of those with you. Everyone knows kind of the general macro play style, but want to bring to you a couple more early game aggressive play, because I know there are some players out there who like that. So the opponent in this game is going to be Sock. Sock is, of course, a Protoss player, so this is going to be a Terran versus Protoss build. The 3 racks, of course, most effective against Protoss opponents. But what are we looking at? Oh boy, that's not what we're looking at. There we go. Nani, of course, is the Terran player who we're taking a look at. What we're looking at, again, is the 3 racks Marine Marauder SCV all-in. What is this? What does it mean? What does it imply? Well, it seems pretty simple and it makes a lot of sense. Now, I want to talk about why Terran all-ins are so effective. The reason is because all of your early game units are ranged units. The Marine and the Marauder, of course, both being ranged units. The SCVs provide a really nice buffer. Also, that extra 5 HP for your SCVs make that big initial engagement that much easier for you. They're definitely a little more durable in those. Obviously, units like this probe here and also the drone, they regenerate health, but they only have a base health of 40 health as opposed to the 45 of the SCV. So those two things in conjunction with each other, the fact that all your early game units are ranged and the fact that those SCVs are a little more durable in those initial burst fights where there's no regeneration that takes place, makes Terran all-ins very effective. So what's going to go on here? Well, we can see right here Nani coming out with this depot. Denying scouting of this is going to be very important. Anything you can do, again, in this particular matchup on this map, he decided to go with this depot to help deny any early game scouting and to help fend off those early pushes and be a little bit more aware of the fact that it's coming. Now let's talk about the build order very quick. Pretty simple stuff here. What we're going to be looking at is a 10 supply depot, 12 barracks, 13 refinery, 16 orbital command. All of that very, very standard. Now what's going to happen is at 21 supply, you're getting 2 more barracks. That's going to put you at those 3 barracks. And then 23 supply, or basically as soon as you can afford it, once you have that extra Vespian, go ahead and start that Stim Pack research. So what's going to happen here is you're going to keep pumping out Marines and Marauders. Obviously, Marines out of these unattached ones and Marauders out of the one with the Tech Lab attachment. Now, you may be asking me, Force, why are there no reactors on here? Why is there not a Tech Lab on there? Why is he just going with normal barracks with no attachments? The reason is that this push is meant to be very early game. The whole concept is that you need to get out your forces as strong as possible, as early as possible. That is the main point. That is the entire idea behind this push. If you were to spend time getting attachments, look at the time you have to wait. A Tech Lab takes 25 seconds. A reactor takes 50 seconds. That is time you cannot afford in a push like this. The entire point, the entire goal of this push is to move out incredibly early with a very, very strong, aggressive move. Now, this is going to be very effective on any relatively short rush distance maps, or if you're on a 4-player map and your spawn location to your opponent is a relatively short rush distance, then this is going to be very effective. Also on a map like this where you can work down these destructible rocks here on Scrap Station to cut back that distance, this is going to be effective as well, and this is actually a big part of the reason why Nani decided to go with this build against Sock. As you can see, Sock's moving out with some aggression. Luckily for you as a Terran player, if you deal with early game aggression from a Protoss opponent, Marines and Marauders are very strong against that early game aggression. You can see that Stim Pack's finished. As soon as that's done, actually going to be coming out with that combat shield. And here comes the time for the push. Now, when I say all in, I don't mean literally all of your SCVs. You do still want some mining, but you're going to be bringing a bulk of your SCVs with you. And again, as you can see, they provide a buffer. They actually force attacks from your opponent's AI to hit them. If your opponent's units are not within the range of your actual offensive units, the Marines and Marauders, but they are within the range of the SCVs, if they stop to attack, they're going to actually automatically attack the SCVs. It is not unless they target fire your Marines and Marauders that they will actually attack them. So this distraction, this buffer is very, very effective and it can be very beneficial. So you can see right there, that attack has been mopped up, and now what's going to happen is we're going to see Nani continue up this aggression. You got to make sure, of course, you're using your hotkeys, you're producing non-stop. Also, keep up the production of supply depots pretty much non-stop as well, because you will be very close to hitting supply cap continuously. But this aggression, as you can see, is going to be very, very strong and very difficult for Sock to actually deal with. So here comes the push right now, and again, we're going to see the effectiveness of that buffer from those SCVs, keeping these Marines and Marauders nice and safe, away from the probes, away from the stalkers and the zealots as well. As long as you keep cutting them back, you're going to be in a strong position. Now, some reinforcements, obviously you always want those rallied. You can see these barracks here are rallied right to the fight. Make sure you're doing that. You want any of those reinforcements to be streaming right back so you can continue up this aggression as much as possible. You can see the effectiveness of leaving a few of those SCVs behind to mine. Again, you want to bring a bulk of them with your push, but leaving a few of them is going to be effective. And then actually what we're going to see Nani do here is he's going to go for these rocks to cut back on the rush distance again further, and that way he's going to be able to reinforce much more quickly, and he's just going to keep up this pressure, and we're going to see him win the game right here. Another big thing that this build does is it's going to force your opponent to not expand. If they try to expand and you go for a Marauder SCV all-in, they're going to lose the game straight up. And here we go, pulling down with some more SCVs right now. And again, down to very few, but at this point it doesn't really matter because this push is going to be way too much for him to handle. Another thing that you can do with those SCVs, of course, is auto-repair them. That's going to let them stay in the fight a little bit longer if you so choose to do so. That is definitely something you can effectively get done here. And just look at this, tearing through the army here, and this is just a good example of how incredibly effective this can be. Some more reinforcements, again, keep those streaming up no matter what's going on. And if you just concentrate on taking out their economy, obviously remove that threat first, kill off any of those threatening units, but then focus on the economy, you're going to go ahead and win the game pretty much no problem. So here we go, moving back in, and there is the GG from Sock. So let's just go over the build really quick one more time. Again, this is pretty simplistic in terms of build orders: 10 depot, 12 racks, 13 refinery, 16 orbital command, 21 supply. You're getting 2 more barracks, and then as soon as you can afford it, go ahead and get that Stim Pack research. After that, your combat shield research, and again, just keep up that continuous production here. We saw how effective it was against holding off an early game push, and Sock had actually moved out with a 4-gate. That was pretty much no problem for our Terran player Nani to deal with. And then after that, just grab a majority of your SCVs, move out, and for the reasons I mentioned, the SCVs being a buffer, having that extra health, and being able to repair themselves, plus all of your early game units being ranged units, makes this push very, very effective. So as always, guys, if you like the content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning.